Hi guys, how you doing? So we've completed the book of First Samuel and we've died in 3 days in the book of Second Samuel. My name is Uzoma Dove and I'm here to give an overview of First Samuel. So we see Samuel, judge of Israel, born to Hannah, a woman who was previously barren and taunted by her co-wife in a polygamous family of Elkanah. Anna cried and prayed to God for a son and made a vow saying she would dedicate her son to the temple. We see that Hannah redeems her vow by dedicating Samuel to Israel's chief priest, who was Eli, to be raised as a Nazarite in the temple. See that the priesthood in Israel is declining as Eli's sons are disobeying God's law. And then God declares that he was going to choose a new priest outside of the family of Eli, which is not the ideal. And then he begins to speak to Samuel regarding the household of Eli and then the nation of Israel. And then Samuel is recognized as a prophet throughout Israel as he begins to declare God's messages to the people. During the battle between Israel and the Philistines, Eli's sons are killed and the Ark of the Covenant is captured. And then Eli hears of his son's death and the capturing of the Ark of the Covenant, and then he falls and dies. The Ark in the Philistines' custody causes diseases, plague among the Philistines. We see that the idols keep falling down, falling off, and then they realize they couldn't keep this Ark and they decide to return it back to the Israelites with a guilt offering. And then Samuel urges the Israelites to abandon their worship of idols, and then God helps Israelites to defeat the Philistines after many years of oppression. Then the Israelites begin to demand for a king so they can be like other nations, like the Amalekites. But Samuel tells the people that you know the consequences of having a king. There could be taxations, there could be tyranny, there could be oppression, and the people insist, we want a king, we want a king. And God tells Samuel, okay, this is who the king is. And as Saul goes about inquiring about his father's lost donkeys, he encounters Samuel and Saul is made a king. So Samuel anoints Saul as king in private, and Saul, who was described as an average beautiful man, pleases the Israelites and leads them into victories. So despite the military victories of Saul, Saul soon disobeys God. If we see that Saul was actually working with God, but I think this got into his head as per the people calling him king, and then he disobeys God by rushing into battle, performing a sacrifice that is due only for the priest. Someone hears of it and is angered and says, what have you done in the sight of God? Why would you offer sacrifices before God? God tells Samuel to instruct Saul to go to battle with the Amalekites and destroys them. But Saul comes back sparing their ruler and their best of flocks with the intention of offering it back to God as a sacrifice. Samuel rebukes Saul and says that obedience is more better than sacrifice, and informs him that God has rejected him and chosen another king. And Saul pleads for forgiveness, but Samuel tells him that his kingdom is divided. And then God leads Samuel to Bethlehem, to the lineage of Jesse, and Jesse brings his sons. The first son of Jesse looks like a king, and God rebukes Samuel and says, no, this is not the king. Don't choose by appearance, choose by the heart. And then Samuel anoints David as king, David who is a shepherd boy, and the spirit of the Lord is rests upon David. And God withdraws his spirit and his power from Saul, and he begins to experience distress. And David becomes very popular, and he became the harp player for Saul. We see the Philistines threatening Israel. This time they had a big giant 9 feet tall called Goliath. Saul and the Israelites were afraid, obviously, but David, because he had the spirit of the Lord upon him, offers to fight Goliath while refusing the king's armors and the shield. And David invokes God's help and kills Goliath with just a stone from a sling. And the Israelites attack the Philistines, and Israelites celebrates David's victory. They began to say, oh, Saul killed thousands, David killed 10,000. Saul killed thousands, David killed 10,000. And then Saul becomes very jealous of David. Then after trying to kill David with a spear, Saul sends him on a suicide mission to kill 100 Philistines and bring back their foreskin. David succeeding with bringing back 200 of the foreskins, and Saul reluctantly rewards him with his daughter Michal. And Saul orders his household to kill David, but with the help of Jonathan and Michal, David's life is spared. They help him escape. Then Saul pursues David into the desert, but David spares Saul's life twice. So the first one was while he was peeing in a cave and then cuts a part of his robe. And then later, David and his men sneak into Saul's tent in the middle of the night and stole his spear. On these both occasions, David also reveals this to Saul. If I had wanted to kill you, I would have killed you. And then Saul begs for mercy. David spares his life. But despite this, Saul continues to pursue David. He never really leaves David alone. And David goes ahead to seek refuge with the Philistines, and they show him mercy. He stays with them. They give him a part of their land and he stays there. So as Saul prepares to fight this Philistine, he consults a witch to summon the spirit of Samuel. And then Samuel wakes up and says, "Who is disturbing my spirit?" Then Saul begins to inquire of Samuel. Samuel's spirit warns Saul that if he goes into the battle, he'll be defeated. And then Saul goes into the battle, they fight, and Saul killed by his own sword. And then the sons of Saul was killed, Jonathan was killed, and David hears of this, and his heart is pain. And this is where the end of the first book of Saul. Did you learn anything from it? We learn about friendship between David and Jonathan. We learn about the kingship of David, how the people wanted Saul, and we continue in Second Samuel and see the reign of David over Israel. I hope you join the Second Samuel study. God loves you crazy. Bye.